Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. And as we've been playing Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster, as I've been doing my normal WoTV stuff this week, there's been one thing people have been messaging me about nonstop, and that is Golbez. Today, we're going to take a first look at his kit. We're going to look at his special weapon that comes with him, and we're going to talk just a little bit about how exciting this dude is. Let's go ahead and dig in. All right, first off, I do just have to gush a little bit about his art. And, you know, the WoTV artists have always been absolutely incredible in everything that they do, but this Golbez just truly takes the cake in how amazing he has been done. I really have no words to describe it. I have never traditionally been a Golbez fan, kind of like how I've never traditionally been excited for like Tomb Raider in games before. But the rendition of these characters by the War of the Visions design team is just so incredible. It's hard for me to describe. I just absolutely love it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes though, because that's what everybody's here. They want to know, what's up with Golbez? What does he do? How powerful is he? Let's start with his TMR. It's interesting. I wouldn't say it's game breaking. HP 420, Defense 4, Spirit 12, Critical Evasion 6. Decreases skill activation time 500 when it's maxed out for 4 turns to self. I don't think this is a very important item for him, and we'll talk about why when we get to his cast times. But he actually, you know, if we were to dig into it, he doesn't really need this. This doesn't do much for him. And again, we'll talk about why when we get to the cast times. Mastery ability, of course, HP 10% for Dark Allies, increases Dark Attack 15 for Dark Allies, Magic 15% for self, and decreases activation time 300. So he's already at that 700 activation time. In terms of stats, he has a nice chunky 3,500 HP. He gets a Defense 12 native in his kit, Magic 538, Agility 62. He comes in with 10% slash resistance, 15% magic resistance. If you're going to be striking or piercing, though, you're going to kick his ass just a little bit. 5% weak to pierce, 20% weak to striking. And, of course, that 10% missile resistance is also nice, considering there is many counters to Golbez, especially if you consider Jaden is on the JP side. So definitely important here. Golbez is immune to slow and stun and 10% to immobilize. So not too bad here. Looking at his support kit, things get a little interesting. He has 2 passives, which are very cool. The Wisdom of the People of the Moon is going to be HP 12%, Magic 24%. This is, of course, very powerful. God Blessing from Sub Green Mage is going to give debuff resistance 12, Magic resistance 12%, which is also very powerful. Black Armor Demon is going to give defense 30, spirit 30 for 3 turns to self, and increase missile resistance 12% for self. Scholar's Knowledge, of course, is going to increase defense 12, accuracy 20. Then we have Emerald Echo, which does have potentially its benefits here, and Preliminary Chanting to decrease activation time 200 for self. Now, all of these are really good, and what I like about all of these is that it makes Golbez multi-situational, right? If you think about Black Armor Demon, where it increases defense and spirit 30 for 3 turns to self, if you're on a map in GVG where you're going to be engaging the opponent in the first 3 turns of battle, this is very powerful. However, if you're not on that type of a map, maybe you adjust and set something else like God Blessing for that passive magic resistance, or Scholar's Knowledge for that defense 12. There's lots of things you can do to kind of change how Golbez plays out on different maps, and I think that's what is really cool about his kit. In terms of counters, he has a 30% chance to counter and absorb AP, which is great. He has Dispel Counter, and he has Counter Logos. All of these are good. You're probably going to be using Dark Moon most of the time. And then his limit break is going to be Void Meteor, high range, increases magic 40% for 3 turns for self, increases defense 20 for 3 turns for self, increases dark resistance 25% for 3 turns to self, and deals 200% modifier damage to the opponent. It's a very powerful limit break. I think this is very advantageous for Golbez. It's very relevant in our PvP meta with Black Rose Helena and Dwayne, especially on the global side. The one fear that I would have is that Global might see like Dwayne, Black Rose, Helena, Golbez combinations. What I am a little at ease with, though, is that maybe the counter to Golbez could potentially be Garvel EX. So we'll kind of have to wait and see there. Taking a look at his primary kit, we've got a lot of interesting things here. So we have Black Fangs, which is his standard attack, is going to decrease Spirit 25, which is great. Moon Eclipse is going to increase Magic Attack 20 for 3 turns to self, and increase debuff resistance for all attack type resistances 100 for 3 turns to self. This is really powerful, really unique. It basically stops him from, having his resistances lowered by attack type resistances. This could make him a little more tanky, right? Something to kind of think about as we're looking at his build. This also gets a buff so that it becomes Magic Attack 35 for 3 turns to self, and then it decreases all element resistances by 100 or increases debuff elemental resistance by 100 as well. So he basically, any hits that are going to hit him, the only thing that's really going to apply is going to be like defense down, spirit down, and that's about it, that you're going to be able to hit him with, which is really cool. Dark Barrier is going to reduce the damage taken 30% for 3 turns to self, and then absorb 30% of the damage done for 3 turns for self. I'm not sure we'll be seeing, it'll be interesting to see Dark Barrier and Missing Moon and which one people prioritize in the AI. I think both of them are good, and both of them have, their situations. I think a lot of it will depend also on the meta, right? When we talk about, how we're changing up units for everything that's going on, this could be a way to make Golbez more versatile. Jet Black Fangs, not flangs. Decreases Spirit 30 for 3 turns, target 165x modifier. When it is enhanced and upgraded, and this is an instant cast, keep in mind, has a 25% chance to immobilize. Now, the fact that this is an instant cast is really important because he has Abyss Khazar, which is his next ability, which does gain a 60% modifier if any of the opponents have spirit down on them. So he's going to be able to go from Fangs of Despair, which is his highest range, biggest AoE move, into Abyssal Quasar and basically most likely kill anything that he hits with it. And then let's say that a target has auto revive or has a lot of spirit on. Don't worry, because he has Meteor to follow that up, which dispels auto revive for the target, increases spirit penetration 50 before it hits, and deals 220% damage to the target that it hits. Not only that, and this is where I think it's really important to point out how casting time affects Golbez. The max cast time on Meteor is 360. To give you perspective, like, that is so fast. That's literally like casting a lower tier spell almost. Like, it's going to cast so incredibly fast when it's fully leveled up. Like, you are, I hear people talk about, Golbez, we want to do a decrease activation build with him. He's already casting so fast. You do not need to do that. You do not need to go a decrease activation build on him. You just need to go power and destruction. And you might find yourself leaning more into survivability since the tools that he has are so powerful. Now, he does have a sub-job. Sub-job Jet Black Mage does give access to Drain and Byaga, which is, I think, a new spell in WoTV, which is a 50% chance to poison in an area. I don't think I've ever seen a unit with Byaga before, but we'll have to kind of, leave it there. If you do go sub-Green Mage, he does have access to Imperil, which is pretty important as well. But most people are going to be subbing him Scholar. Scholar sub gives him access to defense plus 15 if you do want it. He can do speed reading method, which will decrease his activation time. Again, you're probably not going to be popping these buffs because the other 2 buffs that he has in his main kit are very powerful. And he has access to Dark Caller's team, which is going to increase Dark Attack 25 for 3 turns to allies, increase the evocation gauge 60 for 3 turns to allies, and increase increase single target resistance for 15 for 3 turns to allies. So there are so many other good buffs for Golbez. You're probably not going to be using, you know, everything else that you think you might be using with him. You're going to kind of have to pick and choose what you use. Now, one big drawback from the Scholar sub is that he does not have the drain HP ability. Interestingly enough, I think this is the only time where I have seen a Scholar in the game where they don't have access to the drain HP secondary ability, which is interesting. And I'm sure that would probably make Golbez way too powerful, but it's interesting that this has happened. A lot of people are speculating as well. You know, Umbra took Golbez around on a tour in his video and kind of showed him off. A lot of people are saying, well, Golbez, you know, had such high defense and spirit. You know, he's going to be a really defensive and spirit tanking beast. I don't think he's going to be a tank. I think he's designed to take a single hit. I think he's going to be a unit where, you know, he's durable not because of his defense and spirit, right? He's durable because of the 100% immunity to resistance downs from element downs and from status downs, right? So he's gonna, or attack type resistance is down. So the only thing he's vulnerable to is spirit down and defense down, which you'll probably get hit with. And you have to consider, you know, how valuable is that defense and spirit really going to be on him when you have attacks that lower spirit 30, lower defense 30, right? It's more that, you know, you can't lower his resistances when he uses that buff that makes him so goddamn powerful. Now, he does also come with the Black Dragon Wand, which is a rod, which I think is great because, you know, this is gonna change up kind of rod type weapons, I think, because it's gonna have light killer 15 on it in addition to the magic attack 15. I love this. You know, kill those Yunas. You can never make me more happy than killing a Yuna with this type of a weapon. Like, it brings joy to me. There's really no way to describe it other than the fact that it brings me joy. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys, my whole screen is just all sorts of jacked up right now, isn't it? Oh, all right. Well, if you do want to support me, make sure you use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins. And of course, if you do want to support me, you can always become a YouTube member. I do stream quite regularly. In fact, I might be streaming when this video comes out. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Kane, Rosa, and Cecil EX are going to come out tomorrow. See you later.